Okay guys, welcome back to another Testing the Test Rides weekly video. Today we're going to be doing the test rides, obviously. Starting with the Buffalo EVX, this is a fairly new car. You can find this at the Salvage Yard Robbery Target, so I guess let's get straight into the test drive. And I know this is an electric car, so there's down points for that, but if you don't mind electric cars, then honestly this is not a bad pickup, you know, like this car has a decent upgrades. This is actually my personal one. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie, the car could do better on turning, but other than that, the car is alright, okay? I don't think it's a bad car. It might be just me being quite bad with the car, but anyway, yes, I'd still recommend the car. The car is still pretty good. Like, I personally don't have a problem with electric cars. I just would never get one in real life. And this car ain't that bad, especially on upgrades. I actually really enjoyed upgrading this car when I did it, so I wish I actually did a review on it when it came out, but still. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. And if I didn't say it already, this is a Buffalo EVX, and yes, I would recommend it. Okay, so this is the Lamborghini Versys. Not a bad looking car, honestly, but I only have one little problem. I don't really like the back of the car. I like the front, but not the back. Anyway, let's move on to the test drive. Okay, so for a sports classic car, it actually doesn't perform that bad. I really don't mind the way this car looks, handles, or take corners. It's actually pretty good. Honestly, I'd consider this, actually. I would honestly consider this car. And like I told you before, I don't hate the look, but I just don't like the back part of the car. But that's nothing, really. Anyway, yeah, you can find this car at the Salvage Yard Robberies, Lamborghini Versys. Let's move on to the next one. We've got the Toros. I think it's called a Bugatti Taurus. Anyway, this car is an SUV, and you can find it in the Salvage Yard Robberies this week. And the reason I say that is because when we are able to buy these cars, you'll be prepared for it. Anyway, let's see how this car performs. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, the corners are pretty bad on this car, but other than that, the car's not too bad on handling and performance, but honestly, if you're looking for performance, this is probably not the one you want, but I would still recommend it, because it looks good, and I recommend it because mostly I base cars on looks, personally, so yeah, I'd recommend this car because of its looks, and I'd imagine it would have some pretty decent upgrades, so yeah, I'd honestly recommend it. For its looks alone, yes, but for its performance. Let's move on to the next one. I have no words for this, honestly. Why on God's earth would they put this in Simeon's Deluxe Motorsport? I'm not kidding with you guys. This is actually there. I don't understand why they put it there when you could just find it on the streets anytime, anywhere, and yeah, I guess I just could say no already. Don't buy the car when you can just find it on the streets if you really want it. Anyway, let's move on to the test drive. Okay, guys, so I'm going to give this car credit where it's due. The car can take corners well. I mean, I know I crashed a lot, but still, the car can take corners well. It's not a terrible at that stage, but I still would say no. Don't get this car under any circumstances. The car you can find on the streets anywhere of Los Santos. Honestly. The Ruiner 2000 is probably a better purchase than this thing, honestly. I know it's a bit more pricey and stuff, but still, you're better off getting the Ruiner 2000. At least that one has something special with it, not unlike this piece of junk. Anyway, don't get this car. If you want to get a car, get a Ruiner 2000, save up a little more, and then just get that car for it instead. There's much more ways to make money in GT Online. Speaking of that, I believe the Auto Shop robberies are double money this week, so definitely go for them if you can. If you want a car that's good or decent or just fun to play with, get the Ruiner 2000. Don't get this thing. Let's move on to the next one. I really wanted to get this one over with, I'm not going to lie. Okay, so I'm going to try to pronounce this vehicle, but this is called the Canis Kalahari. Kalahari. We could just say that, Kalahari. Anyway, this is an off-roader, so let's test this thing out. I'm not gonna lie, I'm only doing this to get it over with. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I don't even get why this thing is in the game. How is this even drivable, you know? Like, this car, if you were to drive it in real life, I feel like it would fall apart. I feel like it would be like a cardboard box, but I'm gonna make this into a challenge, guys. If you could get this video to 10 likes, I'll buy this car and I'll upgrade it, okay? As a joke, okay? As a joke. I'll buy it and I'll upgrade it and we'll see how it actually looks when it's fully done up. But only if this video hits 10 likes. Anyway, what do I think of the car? I don't even want to say anything about the car. I don't think it's worth buying, unfortunately. I don't know why. I just don't think this car's worth it. Let's just move straight on to the next one. This thing is ridiculous. Okay, guys, so I actually butchered the recording quite a bit, and I really messed that up. I'm going to go talk about this car, and we're going to drive while we do it. So honestly, this car is not a terrible car. I mean, it could take corners well, but let's just see how well it takes corners around going around here. Alright, let's just check that out now. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, that's actually pretty bad. The car is not very good on taking corners, unfortunately. But, the car... Okay, I cannot lie to you guys, this car is terrible, don't even get it. Okay, so this is basically the Jester, but it's called the race car Jester. Because this car is an old car, and I really like old cars in the game. Okay, let's move on to the test drive. Okay, so the Jester race car version actually is not a bad car. It can take corners well, it can brake well, it handles well. I know I crashed near the end there, but still the car does perform pretty well. I would recommend it, I'm not gonna lie, I would absolutely recommend this car. So I think we should move on to the next one. In my 10 years of playing this game, I still don't understand why this is considered a sports classic car. But I think we should test drive this. This is the, I think it's called the Pegassi Torino, and you can find it at Simeon's place. Let's just move on to the test drive. Okay, so the Torino actually isn't a bad car. I would honestly recommend it. It performs well, it takes quarters, but I know I'm a terrible driver, okay? Don't say that down in the comments, but honestly, this car is not bad, okay? I would recommend it. Let's move straight on to the next car, which we're going to move on to the luxury showrooms next. And if I haven't said it already, you can get this car from Simeon's place. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so I'm not going to lie, I don't want to do this. I don't want to buy this car, so I'm just going to say it. Don't get this car, okay? Don't get the car. I don't know why, but just don't get the car. I don't want to get the car myself, so that's sort of why. And I don't really see a point in me buying this car because it's been in the game for a bit now. But it's a fairly new car. Like it's a new car, but I honestly would just not recommend it. The price tag is too high. It's another SUV. I honestly could say avoid it. But if you guys want it, then go for it. I mean, I don't want it. I'm not going to get it. So I'm just going to say no. Before we start this one, I'm just going to quickly say, well, first of all, this is the Impala LX, I think. Anyway, this one you can find at the luxury place. But before we get into the actual test drive, I just wanted to say, there's one annoying thing about GTA 5 that I just cannot stand. Why can't we test drive the new cars in the game? Why have they added the cars into the races? Like seriously, I want to be able to drive them. I don't want to have to buy the cars so I can test drive them. You know? Anyway, let's move on to the test drive. I can't recommend it. I hate the look of it. I'm not gonna lie. And you guys know what I base cars off, so I don't feel like I need to say it. So yeah, I'm just gonna say no. Don't bother with this car. Don't get it. Don't get it. It's a waste of your money. The car can take quarters well. I'm not gonna lie about that. It performs well, whatnot, but the car's just ugly. Okay, I'm not gonna buy it because it's ugly. Okay. And I suggest you guys do the same, but it's your call. If you want to get this car, but I honestly think it's ugly, so let's move on to the next car. Okay, so now I've got the Xenon Classic, and this is the prize ride this week. So the way you can win this car is by going top 5 in the Ellis Car Race Series for 4 days in a row. That's a long time, but I still don't think it's worth it, okay? Don't even bother with this car, it's not even worth it. So, yeah, let's test drive it. Okay, guys, so I honestly, the car felt good to drive. It felt good around taking corners and stuff like that, but still, I would not recommend you try and win this car because, well, I don't really have a reason for it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have a reason for it. You can go win this car if you want to, but still, I would not recommend it. 4 days in a row, not worth it in my opinion. But if you guys want to go for it, I'm gonna just say go for it. Go for it. This car is not terrible. But if you guys want to go for this car, go for it. But if you're like me and your base car's on the looks, do not get it. Let's move straight on to the next one. Okay, guys, this is the Dominator ASP. It's another muscle car. You can find us at the Alice Car Meet, and I think it's a test ride you can do. So, yeah, Dominator ASP test ride. Let's test it ourselves. Okay, guys. So the Dominator ASP, I actually don't think this car is bad at all. Okay, the car takes corners well. I know I crashed a lot, but honestly, that's just my driving skills for you. The car handles well and performs well. Everything about this car is good, so I'd say go for it. It's not a bad car, so go for it. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, this car reminds me of a game I used to play called Juiced. Some of you may know it, but it was a PS2 game. Honestly, one of the best games I ever played. One of the best racing games ever made. Anyway, this car, I think we should just test drive it. This is the Karin Sultan RS Classic, and you can find it at the Alice Car Meet. Test rideable car, buyable car. Let's move on to the test drive. Okay, so I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm gonna probably buy this car. I'm not gonna lie. I like this car that much. I might actually buy the car. But yeah, the car performs well. It takes corners well. It brakes well. Everything about this car is just straight up awesome. And I honestly would recommend anyone buy this car. This is honestly one of my favorite looking cars. So yeah, get the car if you can, if you want to. This car has some pretty cool upgrades and stuff. I like this car. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so we've got the Emperor Virtue. Emperor Shao Kahn. And, sorry, I'm getting off topic. Let's move on to the actual test drive itself. Okay, so the Emperor Virtue. Not a bad car to drive, I'm not gonna lie. Corners takes well, brakes well, handles well, everything about this car is great. And I honestly would recommend buying it too, because I honestly think this car could have some decent upgrades. But I don't know. I don't know. I do think you guys should buy it if you guys want to. But yeah, if you guys want to buy it, go for it. But now we're going to move on to the last car of the day, the podium vehicle. So let's move on to that now. Oh, and if I haven't said it already, this car can be found in the Alice Car Meet test rides. Okay, guys. So now we've got on to the last vehicle, the podium vehicle, the Pista Grella. Let's test drive this thing out. Okay, guys, so this is probably one of the best cars I've driven. And honestly, I recommend going for this car from the podium vehicle. So, yeah, go for it. Anyway, guys, we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.